recording right from the beginning. I can't miss this. This is wild.
Yeah, hold on. I got to get in a place where I can see. About 90 degrees here. All right. So actually, I'll send you this picture. This is this is my hike. I do this daily. It's called Temescal Ridge. And as you come up out of the trees, first of all, the view is phenomenal, but it's bald, so it's hot.
Yeah.
And like 6 days ago, I saw serious, probably it's definitely, first of all, I've never seen a full rattlesnake. I've seen a bunch of other snakes, but I saw a full rattlesnake that was like a good 5 feet. And I was like, whoa.
Investors, if you're watching this, you don't have to worry about Ross's safety. He and, the crocodile hunter were best friends.
Just admiring California scenery,
So, tell me, how many of your great ideas have been thought while you're going on this hike?
My friends and colleagues joke about it. It's true. I mean, this is where the magic happens a lot of the time, because you gain such clarity, and, you have sort of back of the brain and front of the brain, and they're working independent, and it's very free flowing. And yes, you do it for physical reasons and health, but really it's for up here just as much, if not more. Yeah.
So, right before we hopped on this, you're gonna have to say it again. So, tell me what you're wearing, first of all.
Okay. So it's a 42-pound vest that I actually had customized because they're bulky, and so when you're going downhill, it can bounce. So they put these Velcro straps on this guy that I know actually did it for me. And so that it's very tight, so it doesn't, because you got to watch your knees on the down. Yeah. But then I sort of have a little carrying case here, which is got to have a mask in the park. They demand a mask, so I got a mask. I have a Swiss Army knife just in case Godzilla appears. Yeah, and that's about it. My cell phone.
Oh, that's insane. Incredible. I would have never pictured you for the hiking guy, and I said that. And then you mentioned that you climbed Mount Everest.
No. I didn't summit Everest. We attempted and had an amazing expedition and some complications, but it was amazing. And yeah, spent a good over a month up there in Nepal and Kathmandu and Lukla. Anyone who knows Lukla,
So tell me, Everest is about, call it 8,800 meters, right? Talk to me tell people, just
36,000 feet actually, and I think it grows a foot every year if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does. I see that right on Google when I search it up. So tell me, how high are we talking? How high did you make it?
Right above Van's base camp is 24,000, something 25,000, something like that. Base camp is 19. So, it takes, if you're going to do the hike, it takes about, if you're fast, you can do it in a week. It takes about 2-3 weeks because you got to trek through the rainforest and all the little towns along the way, which is honestly a fascinating trip in itself. But yeah, listen, I'm from Calgary, right? It's all skiing and mountains. So I was around that my entire upbringing, mountain biking, skiing, and whatever. So when I moved to California, you got to explore here too.
Yeah, no, crazy. It's funny just picturing that. Even me and a friend, when we were in our 20s, much healthier, we said by 30 we want to climb Everest. Now it probably won't happen, but still, wild that you say that. Talk to me and maybe the people, a little bit more of the leadership side, but how important is taking time for yourself like this? When I talk to some other CEOs, even myself, I don't have time to breathe, and that's what people say. How important is spending a couple hours to do this?
Listen, this is, God knows I don't have all the answers, but what's worked for me, right, is there's a sort of a thesis out there that's pretty old school that talks about work-life balance, right? But for me, that never really resonated because it sort of infers a very, I think, binary system, like one's on, one's off, and you kind of have to make up for the other if you didn't. I like to think of it more as sort of a work-life harmony where, you got to take care of the organism so that you can take care of the environment kind of thing. And I think of family the same way. So I think to fully execute that plan, you need a really supportive partner, which I'm super lucky that I do. But yeah, so I think it's a whole ethos, because you really can't let this go, right? And so you've got to pay attention to it from an emotional standpoint, physical, mental. So truthfully, when I come up here, even though the workout is very extreme, I'm the most relaxed. I'm the most relaxed here. This is a total rebuilding time. It flushes everything, including, you know, your physiology, toxins, other chemicals are popping, endorphins. Like it's a really a super healthy trip.
No, it's good. Well, hey, people say the most relaxing time is when they're at the gym or after the gym. So it
Yeah.
makes sense. Interesting. You know, I know we had some other things planned, but obviously, you know, I had to take the opportunity to shoot a video while you have 40 pounds on you to make it that much more exciting. Did you want to talk, you know, a little bit more about leadership and team building? I know that wasn't what we had planned, but would love, you know, it sounds like it might fit in with what's going on.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. How do we think of leadership? I think leadership comes in a lot of different ways, but I'm a big believer in leading by example. I'm a big believer in actions, way over words. A huge believer in that, and I'm a huge believer in humility. I'm a huge believer in real humility and being really transparent with those that are around you, your employees, family, friends, etc. I think that the more grounded you are, the more likely you're able to really communicate with somebody. And I think leadership is really about that. Like I remember one of our early acquisitions, we acquired a company that had an owner that was, it was a very hierarchical sort of structure. He sort of sat at the top, and everyone just ran circles around him. And he was literally sewed to his seat. And you know, he had a lot of trouble sort of delegating and you know, releasing his grip to a certain extent. And what that caused is you couldn't scale the business. So he didn't have the real capability or humility to sort of let people know what his weaknesses were. And so you just couldn't scale. And I think it's a huge flaw that many entrepreneurs face. But you kind of have to get out of the way to allow your business to scale, because your time is better spent on the things that, you know, made you. If you're a great salesman, then that's where you should spend your time. If you're a great chemist, then that's where you should spend your time. But if you're trapped with administrative work or things that you're not great at in finance and whatnot, and you won't let those things go, you know, in essence, it's extremely poor leadership.
No, it's funny. You're touching on exactly, and maybe you've read the report, maybe you haven't. You know, Bank of America did a report on kind of what stops businesses from growing, and they say it's the fact that their leadership, the person who founded the business, can't let go and trust someone else to do a good job, even though they might have done things a little bit different. And you're
100%.
really touching on that.
100%. And when you get into a rational conversation, I think to any, I would say, you know, astute mind in business, it seems quite rational, right? Anyone can really understand this and sort of say, okay, well, that makes sense. But again, the actions of actually doing it and physically doing it, it's somewhat difficult. I've got friends that are great entrepreneurs that run businesses, but they're stuck in their seat because they never quite believe that someone else is going to do it better. But what's fascinating about that point is the person that comes in to take things off your plate or run different aspects of the business that you were once doing, even if they're a little bit worse than you, if you were 100%, and even if they're 75 or 85%, that's okay. Because the moment that that's removed off your plate, it allows you to concentrate on moving the business forward. And as you do that, and as it grows, you can always upgrade and replace and find different partnerships and different people, and you move the ball down the field. You got to keep moving the ball down the field, and that's critical.